Hello, and welcome to the Harmonagon project. On the Harmonagon, we play and select musical notes by clicking on these buttons numbered 0 through 11 around the circle. Adjacent to each button are labels indicating the note names or letters, along with sharps or flats when needed. 7 letters are used to represent the natural notes in Western music, and they are C, D, E, F, G, A, and B. When selected, the notes play, and the buttons change from a semi-transparent color with a black stroke to a solid color with a white stroke. The 5 remaining notes are called accidentals, and they are C sharp or D flat, D sharp or E flat, F sharp or G flat, G sharp or A flat, and A sharp or B flat. As you can see, when the 7 natural notes and the 5 accidental notes are combined, the result is a 12-note chromatic scale. A sharp symbol, or hashtag, or a flat symbol, or small letter B, is added directly after the letter name when a pitch is raised or lowered by a semitone. C becomes C sharp, D becomes D sharp, F becomes F sharp, and so on. Similarly, when a note is lowered, we call it flat. For example, when the note E is lowered by 1/2 step, it becomes E flat. G becomes G flat. A becomes A flat, and so on. On a piano, the 7 natural notes are represented by the white keys, while the black keys represent the 5 accidentals. As you can see here in the notation, sharp symbols are used when scales are ascending, and flat symbols are used when scales are descending. Each accidental has 2 possible note names. D sharp is the same pitch as E flat. F sharp is the same as G flat. G sharp is the same as A flat, and so on. Note names that represent the same pitch are called enharmonic equivalents. The numbers on the Harmonagon resemble a clock. The only difference is our use of 0 in place of 12 at the top. Instead of hours, the numbers represent the 12 notes of the chromatic scale. We use 0 through 11 to identify the number of steps between the root 0 and each of the other notes. Steps are the spaces between notes, like frets on a guitar or the separation of keys on a piano. It's where we step from one discrete note to another. For example, we can see that there are 4 half steps between the root C and the note E, and there are 7 half steps between the C and the G, and 9 half steps between the note C and the note A. These numbers make it easy to count steps. There are 2 types of steps, half steps and whole steps. A half step, also known as a semitone, is a single space between adjacent notes. For example, 1 half step separates the C and the C sharp, the D and the D sharp, the F and the F sharp, and so on. A whole step is the equivalent of 2 semitones. Thus, for example, 1 whole step or 2 half steps separate the notes C and D, D and E, F and G, and so on. Whole steps are a form of shorthand. Instead of counting all 12 half steps around the circle to identify an octave, we can just count 6 whole steps. Combinations of half steps and whole steps are used to describe intervals. For example, a minor third, in this case counting from C up to E flat, we can describe this distance as being 1 whole step plus 1 half step, or 1 half step plus 1 whole step. For more on notes and steps, please watch our video on intervals, and be sure to subscribe to the Harmonagon channel on YouTube. Until next time, have a great day.